South Korea seeking to mediate between the U.S. and North Korea as Kim Jong-un threatens to cancel next month's summit with President Trump in Singapore. Meanwhile, the president saying he will insist on the country's denuclearization. Daniel Davis is a senior fellow for defense priorities. John Whitbeck, the Virginia GOP chairman. Dan, to you. In what is increasingly looking like on-again, off-again talks with the U.S. and North Korea, South Korea now offering to serve as a broker and intermediary in these talks. How will that work given the president's penchant for taking charge?
Well, I think all they're going to do is help things get set up, because there's no doubt that President Trump is the one in charge, and this is going to be a negotiations ultimately in between President Trump and Kim, and an intermediary will only facilitate and help. It won't actually set any of those things in space.
So getting the party started. John, to you, the Wall Street Journal has a fantastic story today detailing how North Korea has repeatedly, over 25 years, backtracked on international agreements regarding weapons. Is its statement Wednesday that the company might abandon the talks if our government continues to demand unilateral nuclear disarmament a sign that the same thing's going to happen, well, all over again?
It might, and I think this underscores why it's so critical that President Trump stays the course. I mean, we are here because the Trump doctrine of peace through strength, if you will, has gotten us to this place. And President Trump needs to be willing to walk away from these talks if North Korea does not agree to a denuclearization timetable, because that's why we're here, and that's what he should stay and keep doing. Right.
Well, Dan, you know, let's put that full screen back up. Not the Non-Proliferation Treaty, 1993 agreed frame, 1993-94, the six-party talks. Again and again and again, North Korea walks away for 25 years. You've been on the ground there. Are they going to do it again?
Well, that remains to be seen. And, you know, you can expect in any negotiations, both sides are going to try to get more than they want. And they're going to, you know, use all these different tactics, which is, you know, this whole thing about possibly pulling back and not having it. That's just something they've been doing for a long time. And it's not to be it's very expected and not surprising at all. But the bottom line is, and the thing that's most important, is that President Trump's greatest requirement here and his, you know, most sacred mission is to keep the United States safe, to prevent war, and to keep Americans safe from anything that may happen. And choosing any kind of military strike is the worst thing that can happen, and we don't need that to keep us completely safe for indefinitely, actually.
Well, that's true. John, let's just talk about Libya for a second. Some people saying that that's what's really driving North Korea's concerns. What is behind their most recent worry to the point that they're talking about pulling out of these talks?
Well, I think you can look at history, as you were just talking about, how this is sort of their MO. This is what they do. They make promises and they pull out. But, you know, I think there's something different about this. This president has been very clear. He shamed this dictator and projected strength and got him to the table. And I think what really the North Korean dictator is fighting for is keeping his job. And President Trump is probably the first president to come along that would be able to do something about that.
Keeping his job, keeping his wealth, making sure that he gets to stay in position for the rest of his life. I do see that. Dan and John, thanks for coming on the show today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Good news.